And that's the f***ing problem.
Stop. Do not fight me. Put your hands behind
I'm not going to put my hands against it. I'm not going to fight anybody.
Do not fight me or I'm going to put you on the ground. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Listen, shut up.
No, you stop talking.
Okay, shut up. I get it.
Come on. Come on.
Wait. No, stop.
This is not going to go well for you. You're going to go
stop
to my
right here, please. Are you serious? Do you hear that they're laughing? Like,
I don't care.
why?
You're out here beating up little kids. Give me a
I'm
break.
not beating up little kids.
Give me a break. Give me a break.
I'm not beating up little
Stop.
kids.
Stop. See, and this is what I'm saying.
Look at her.
Get in the car.
Happily. This is the fucking, oh my God.
I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay, yeah, let's all talk over here, guys. You break out my window, you're getting a felony charge. Do you understand that?
You're a real fucking hard ass. Hear that?
Do you understand?
Now you're what, 21?
No.
What? You're 22?
No, I'm 35.
Oh, hard ass. Oh.
Over on Orange? Okay.
Then she came up to me and pushed me off.
So you were just riding your bike and she just pushed you off willy-nilly?
And then she was trying to touch me.
36, if you could step it up. She's trying to break out my window.
You're getting somewhere?
Stop!
No!
Stop!
So let me
Stop!
give me a minute!
No!
No!
You need to stop! Act like a grown-up. How old are you?
I'm trying to. How old are you?
How old are you?
I'm your age.
Okay, then you need to start acting like
give
it.
me a minute to act like your age.
Okay, then I'm telling you, sit in the back of this car, relax, and I will come talk to you.
You're giving all these children a
So
minute.
you
I was here to like
You need to relax.
I was on their
You need
side.
to relax.
I was on their
You need
side.
to relax. I will come talk to you and get everything figured out. But right now, you need to relax and act like an adult.
That's not fair.
All right. So what's going on? Explain it to me. I want you to take 5 deep breaths.
Oh, take 5 deep breaths.
Take 5 deep breaths.
Clear 10-3. I've got units here. Thank you.
I'm trying to get my bike back, but she was like,
Did she take your bike?
she pushed me off the bike and I was trying to grab it, but she was trying to touch me.
Okay.
Did she put her hands around your neck? That's what Tom said. Did she was choking you?
Did she choke you out?
I think she was trying to put one of her hands around my neck.
On the front or the back?
I think on the side. Then she pushed
On
me
the
off.
side?
Then she pushed me off my bike.
These kids are literally all that like we have as like, you know, all that we have as like what's given to them. Like look around. We're fucking straight up like these kids have tried every moment that I've had to say the word n. Like they have said, like they have tried my life, and yes, I have kids. I have kids that are their age. So yes, you're right. I'm not scared to say the word n because my kids grow up in these streets.
Do you guys know this lady at all?
No.
Never seen her before.
We just all came from her birthday party that we just left from.
Okay.
I know you're looking at me like I'm crazy, but like oh my God, I can't. They're like, these kids are like, they're just like, oh, they're terrorists.
What do they do today?
I pay money, taxes, and all the things. Like, trust me, I've gone to jail. You can look me up. I know that it's not a You can look me up, Alexander. Like, you can look me up in Collier County. Like, you can see it. Like, I've been to jail in Collier County. Like, it's not a shame. But these kids, it was like a, you know, you have kids. Do you have kids?
I do.
You called?
I'm the one that called.
Okay, perfect. Let's talk over here real quick. What'd you see?
Not much. All I seen was the kids were running from the park. You could see she was throwing stuff. She was chasing them. And then they got to this corner and turned, and then she's walking back. That little girl was riding her bike, and that lady just walks up and pushes her off the bike, pushes her to the ground and everything. And then at that moment, I called 911 because you're not going to assault a minor.
Right.
And then my mom went over there to try to defuse the situation and everything.
Okay.
I'm going to wait for a female officer to get here, and then we're going to do that.
Can you just unhook them for like a second, like a little bit, unhook them a little bit, because I literally cannot think straight without like the fact that like these kids,
Okay.
they have,
Give me a second.
they have, which I get it, like they're made to think that like they're all to be blamed for like everything. Everything's racist
Okay.
and everything. It's all race, and I get it. I do, but like I'm not the one.
All right. So now tell me what happened.
So I don't understand. Like all these kids are like out here, like there's nothing that can face them. Like there's nothing that can go wrong. young, and like I grew up in Naples, Florida, where like honestly nothing can really go wrong. And
You came up to these kids.
I came up to these kids, and I was like, look, like I'm not gonna pretend like I'm like, you know, something safe to you, like because is not safe. Like people are not what they claim to be. I'm like, I need you to know that.
So it's time for them to get got. And I'm not gonna like, especially by her being a little girl.
What are you guys, neighbors?
No, don't know her from a can of paint.
Do you know these kids?
I don't know these kids. No, I don't know these kids.
Okay. And you just wanted to tell them like
I
what?
just wanted to like, I wanted to like make a stance, or like I just wanted to like make them know that like things are not always what they seem. Like things are not always what they seem, and like if your mom is telling you that, like everything is right, like you know these kids literally came up to me like I was their best friend, and I was like, I'm not your best friend. Like
Okay, listen. So I want you to listen to me. You were kicking this window earlier. If that happens again, we're gonna tie you.
I won't kick any windows. I won't.
We're gonna get you out. We're gonna check your handcuffs. Yes, you can step out and we'll check the handcuffs.
What's your name?
Alexandra. I don't want to make problems for anybody but these kids.
Can you put your chest against my truck here?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna check your handcuffs, okay?
Just one more time, walk me through from the moment you saw it to the moment I got here. What happened?
So we were all just chilling at home, and then we seen this
Were you outside or inside?
We were outside.
Okay.
We were all like chilling outside, and then we seen the kids running from the park.
Okay.
We could see her chasing them. Like what caught my eye was she was trying to get like a branch from a tree that's out here.
Okay.
She couldn't get it, so she continued chasing the kids. He ends up yelling at the kids to like go home. They're running, she's chasing them, and then they turn this corner, lost her for a bit, and then we seen her walking back. They're being kids and following her thinking it's fun, but the little girl was on her bike, not even bugging this girl, and she just comes up and pushes her off the bike, and then she's off the bike, she grabs the bike, and then like pushes the girl and everything. He was there from the beginning.
So what'd you see?
I went in the store to get change, and that happened.
At the grocery store right there?
Yeah. I watched her chase all them boys and call them.
But what physical? What did you see physical happen?
I seen a stick or something get thrown.
She threw a stick at them?
Something.
Okay. Did you see who specifically she threw it at, or was it just kind of the group?
She was throwing it at the group of them, all of them.
Okay.
She was throwing it all of them.
At all of them? Okay. So did you see the girl get pushed off her bike?
That there I did not see.
No worries, no worries.
But I believe it did happen.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Did you see anything else happen after that?
No.
All right, here, have a seat in here, okay?
But can you please take these? I just want you to take, like, give me a little bit of, like...
I already loosened them.
Have a seat in there. We're gonna figure everything out. If you explain to us what happened after we talk with them, then we'll be able to help you out with that. Keep explaining to me. Keep explaining to me what happened.
Really suck.
Oh, I want you to explain to Officer Fukunaga.
No, she doesn't want to hear.
No,
Yes, she
I wasn't
does.
here.
No, she doesn't.
I do. I wasn't here. So can you tell me from the beginning what happened?
These are kids. Look at that girl. Look at that girl right there.
She's a kid.
Everybody's giving her all of the benefit of the doubt, right?
Okay. So
12.
is that what
I'm
you're
not
telling
going
me?
to sit here and say that the 12-year-old is the I'm not going to say.
Is this yours?
I'm asking.
Okay, this is hers, and here is her cell phone.
So what happened?
But
That's what
look
I'm
at
asking,
her.
what happened.
Like she's
Okay.
12. So if I were to sit here and say that she was the investigator, would you give that all of the investigation?
No, I'm asking you what happened. I'm just asking
Can
what
I
happened.
please just...
I can't take them off.
Can you just loosen them?
I already did loosen.
Who'd she touch?
She pushed her against the gate.
Her? What happened?
Her was just going back to her house.
Who's her?
Me, you're there.
Oh,
I know you're there.
Okay, hi.
So we were going back to my house.
What was she saying?
I don't know. She's drunk.
Okay, just
She's
screaming.
drunk.
Okay.
So usually when people are drunk, I don't mess with people that are drunk.
Yeah.
We're laughing, but we're laughing at something else. She's like, "Oh, you think it's funny?" And we're over here saying, "We're not laughing at you." And then out of nowhere, she sees her laughing and she pushes her to the gate.
But on the Orange Avenue side? Okay. All right. And she just pushed you for no reason?
Yeah.
How old are you?
13.
13. Okay.
My kids are the same age as these kids.
Yeah.
That girl in the purple right there.
Yeah.
She gets to grow up, right?
Okay.
She gets to grow up with kids who deal with like kids who like we get to go to sleep at night with like the fact that like this is like a factor of like what we're dealing with. It's disgusting to me.
Yeah.
It's disgusting to me.
I still don't understand how the kids got involved with you.
The kids, how the kids got involved are these kids don't have anybody who give a
And that's all you've been telling me. I need to
And
actually
that's
know.
all that like I care about. Like
Here's what's happening, okay? Go ahead and slide in a little bit
you
for
have
me.
no kids, you have no
Slide in a
heart.
little bit for me,
like,
okay? I want to explain your charges to you, okay? Just slide in for
What
me.
are my charges?
I'd like to explain it to you, but I need you to slide in a little bit, okay? Yeah, that's fine. I just need you to slide in a little bit for me, okay? Can you do that?
No.
Okay, so if you don't do
So
that,
I
I'm
would
going
love
to
for you
charge
to push me in.
Okay, I'm done talking with you. So
You have not talked to me at all.
I've
though.
talked to you enough. I'm done.
You haven't talked to me at all.
So, yeah, what are your questions?
Why am I being charged with anything
Well, we tried to get your
involving
side
a
of this
child?
because you pushed one child and you pushed another child against the fence.
Do you
So-
have proof?
Yes, I have witnesses.
Where can I see proof? I've
Sure, it'll be on
never.
your PCA. Slide in for me.
Are you going to push me?
I will if I need to, so I'm going
But
to
I
need you to just
haven't.
slide in for me.
But I have not touched a child. I've not once touched a child.
Would you mind sliding in for me?
I will if I have to, but I
You do
haven't.
have to.
I haven't
Slide in,
touched him.
Relax,
You've been resisting. Just slide in.
No, this isn't.
There you go.
Alexander, come towards me.
There you go.
Sit towards me. There you go.
This is not. This is not right. You know this isn't right.
Ma'am, we're trying not
This
to
isn't-
use any
I've
additional
been-
force on you, okay? You do understand that if you keep this behavior up, we will have to put your feet in a tie.
All right, this is for you.
I've been.
And to prevent any further damage to any property or any further charges.
You just need to
You
slide your
hold
feet in for me.
yourselves accountable.
I gotta give you one of these.
What's wrong with you?
Just relax.
What's wrong with you?
Just relax.
No, what's wrong?
Just relax.
What's wrong
Over
with
here.
you?
Nothing's
You
wrong
know
with
that
me.
what your colleague is doing is wrong.
No? No?
Yes, you do.
There you go.
Here, take my lap.
Perfect.
Like, it's fine. Your colleague is wrong. You guys are wrong. I haven't done anything.
Picture yourself on a quiet residential street in the late afternoon. The kind of place where children ride bikes in loose circles, backpacks bouncing, voices overlapping without urgency. Nothing about the scene suggests danger. No raised alarms. No flashing lights. Just ordinary movement in an ordinary neighborhood that feels completely safe. Now imagine that calm breaking not with a scream, but with a sudden adult decision that doesn't fit the setting. A grown person steps into a space clearly occupied by children. Words are exchanged, then something physical happens. Not dramatic, not cinematic, just fast enough that witnesses hesitate, and serious enough that it can't be undone. This is the moment most people misunderstand. Many assume that if no one is seriously injured, nothing criminal has occurred. That a brief shove, a grab, or a push, especially in public, falls into the category of just a confrontation. That intent matters more than impact. That adults are given more leeway to handle situations involving kids who are being loud, annoying, or disrespectful. But this situation does not stay in that category. Within minutes, what began as a neighborhood disturbance starts moving toward a legal outcome that carries irreversible consequences. Not because of outrage, not because of public opinion, but because a specific line was crossed, one that changes how the law views everything that follows. By the time restraints appear, the story is no longer about tempers or misunderstandings. It becomes about exposure, charges, custody, and a set of decisions that cannot be walked back, explained away, or reframed after the fact. What makes this case different is not how loud it gets, but how quietly the legal threshold is crossed, right in front of everyone watching. The central legal question in this case is not whether the situation felt unfair. It is not whether emotions were running high, or whether anyone believed they were justified in the moment. The real question is this: at what exact point does a neighborhood confrontation become criminal child abuse under the law? Most people believe there is a wide gray zone when adults interact with children in public. They assume that unless a child is seriously injured, or unless the contact is prolonged or intentional, the law will treat it as a misunderstanding. That belief is wrong, and it is the belief that drives this case toward arrest. There is a specific legal myth at work here: the idea that brief physical contact, when framed as correction, frustration, or reaction, remains protected from criminal consequences. Many assume intent is the shield. Others believe that being provoked erases liability. By the end of this video, you will understand why the thing she believed would protect her, the belief that this wasn't serious and nothing really happened, is exactly what made arrest inevitable. The law does not wait for outcomes, it evaluates thresholds, and once those thresholds are crossed, context stops helping, explanations stop mattering, and the legal dynamic changes permanently. To understand how this case escalates so quickly, the sequence has to be compressed, not replayed. This begins in a residential area during daylight hours. A group of children is moving through a public space, doing exactly what children typically do in neighborhoods like this. riding bikes, talking loudly, drifting in and out of sight. There is no prior relationship between them and the adult who will soon become the focus of the incident. No ongoing dispute. No history. At some point, the adult notices the group and decides to engage. The interaction is not requested, it is not mediated, and it is not limited to verbal exchange. Multiple witnesses later describe the same pattern. The adult moves toward the children rather than away from them, follows them through the area, and continues the engagement even as the children attempt to leave. This is where the case begins to narrow. What matters legally is not the full argument, but a small set of facts that remain consistent across accounts. The engagement happens in public. It involves multiple minors. It continues over distance rather than ending after a single exchange. And most importantly, it does not remain verbal. Witnesses describe objects being thrown in the direction of the group. They describe a child being pushed off a bicycle. They describe physical contact near a fence or gate. These details matter not because they are dramatic, but because they establish proximity, intent to engage, and escalation. By the time law enforcement arrives, the scene is already stabilized by the presence of witnesses. Statements are being given independently, the children are separated, the adult is isolated. The investigation is no longer about what might have happened, it is about what multiple people saw happen. This compressed timeline matters because it sets up the pivot, not the arrest, not the charges, but the precise moment where the legal classification of the behavior changes entirely. Everything changes here. Up to this point, the situation exists in a space many people mislabel as a neighborhood dispute, raised voices, conflicting stories, a question of who started what. In that space, outcomes are flexible. Warnings are possible. Separation resolves the issue. The law still has room to step back. That room disappears the moment physical contact with a minor is established. The pivot, in this case, is not an argument. It is not the tone of voice. It is a brief, direct act. An adult placing hands on a child in a way that causes displacement off a bicycle, against a barrier, or to the ground. The duration is short. The force does not need to be extreme. The injury does not need to be severe. The legal dynamic shifts because the identity of the alleged victim matters more than the intensity of the contact. The moment that contact occurs, the standard changes. What was previously evaluated as disorderly behavior now intersects with statutes designed to protect minors from physical interference by adults. Intent becomes secondary. Explanation becomes irrelevant. The question is no longer why it happened, but whether it crossed a defined threshold. The moment that threshold is crossed, officers are no longer managing a disturbance. They are documenting potential criminal conduct. Probable cause does not build gradually after this point, it snaps into place. From here on, every word spoken, every refusal, every attempt to reframe what happened operates under a different legal gravity. The outcome is no longer negotiable. It is procedural. The legal analysis in this case begins with a belief that many people hold without realizing how fragile it is. The myth is simple. If no serious injury occurs, and if the contact was brief, criminal liability does not attach. That myth collapses the moment the law shifts its focus from outcome to threshold. This is where annoyance becomes conduct. Under most U.S. statutes, disorderly conduct is designed to address behavior that disrupts public order without necessarily causing physical harm. Yelling, following, creating a disturbance. Had this case stayed in that lane, the legal exposure would have remained limited. Warnings, separation, possibly a citation. But this case does not stay there. The statute governing battery does not require injury. It requires intentional physical contact that is offensive or harmful. When the alleged victim is a minor, that same contact is evaluated through a heightened protective lens. The law does not ask whether the adult meant harm. It asks whether the adult placed hands on a child in a way that caused force or displacement. This is where explanation becomes irrelevant. A shove that knocks a child off a bicycle meets the contact requirement. A push against a fence satisfies the force element. Even brief contact, if corroborated by witnesses, clears the statutory threshold. At that point, the analysis no longer centers on behavior management. It centers on criminal exposure. This is where conduct becomes chargeable. Once that threshold is crossed, probable cause does not require certainty. It requires reasonable belief based on observable facts. Multiple independent witnesses describing the same act. A minor describing physical contact. A visible scene consistent with displacement. These elements combine to form a legally sufficient basis for arrest. This is where suspicion becomes custody. At this stage, the standard is not whether the adult agrees with the allegations. The standard is whether a reasonable officer, viewing the totality of circumstances, would believe a crime occurred. That standard is objectively reasonable, not emotionally persuasive. This is where denial stops helping. Statements like, "I didn't touch anyone," or "I never meant to hurt them," do not negate probable cause when contradicted by witness accounts. Intent does not erase contact, belief does not override observation. This is where speech becomes secondary to action. Many attempt to shield themselves by reframing conduct as speech. But speech is protected, conduct is not. The moment physical interaction occurs, constitutional protections tied to expression no longer apply. The law separates what was said from what was done, and it evaluates them independently. This is where disorderly conduct becomes an elevated charge. When the disturbance includes physical contact with a minor, disorderly behavior does not disappear, it compounds. It becomes an additional charge layered on top of battery or child abuse exposure. Each count stands on its own factual footing. This is where non-compliance adds weight. After probable cause is established, refusal to follow lawful commands introduces resisting without violence. This charge does not require force, it requires obstruction. Delays. Refusals. Escalation after lawful detention begins. This is where explanation becomes exposure. Attempting to argue the facts during detention does not pause the process. It extends it. Every refusal increases the complexity of the case. Every escalation widens the legal footprint. And this is the core lesson. The law does not punish emotion. It responds to thresholds. Once those thresholds are crossed, contact with a minor, corroborated by witnesses, followed by non-compliance, the system moves forward, regardless of how unfair it feels to the person experiencing it. This is where confrontation becomes a case file. Cases like this often generate immediate counter-narratives. Not legal defenses, but emotional shields designed to reframe conduct after the fact. To understand why those shields fail, they have to be examined under the same objective standard the law applies. One common claim is, "This is about free speech." It is not. Speech is protected precisely because it does not involve force. The moment conduct replaces expression hands placed on a child, a body displaced, First Amendment protections no longer govern the analysis. The law separates what was said from what was done and evaluates only the latter. Another shield is police overreaction. That argument assumes officers are responding to tone or attitude. In reality, their response is triggered by corroborated facts, multiple witnesses, consistent accounts, and a minor reporting physical contact. Once probable cause exists, officers are not permitted to ignore it because a suspect is upset or disagreeable. There is also the appeal to personal status: parent, taxpayer, good person. None of these alter the statutory elements of an offense. The law does not assign immunity based on identity. It applies the same threshold to everyone present in the same circumstances. Claims of misunderstanding fail for the same reason. The legal test is not whether the adult felt misunderstood. It is whether a reasonable observer, looking at the same facts, would conclude that physical interference with a minor occurred. This is where belief collides with standard. The system does not require officers to resolve emotional narratives in real time. It requires them to act when legal thresholds are met. That is why these counter-narratives collapse simultaneously, not because they are insincere, but because they are irrelevant to the governing test. This is not about taking sides. It is about recognizing that once conduct crosses a defined legal boundary, the story stops being personal and starts being procedural. What drives situations like this is not a medical condition and not a momentary lapse. It is a recurring behavioral pattern that appears in public-facing confrontations across many similar cases. This pattern often begins with entitlement, the belief that one's perception of a situation carries more authority than shared rules. That belief allows an adult to insert themselves into a space occupied by children and assume the right to correct, confront, or control without invitation. It is reinforced by authority confusion. The individual is not a parent, not a guardian, and not an official, yet behaves as if they possess temporary jurisdiction over the environment. When that assumption is challenged, escalation follows. Another layer is status insulation. Personal identity, being a parent, a taxpayer, or a longtime resident, is treated as a buffer against consequences. The expectation is that this status will recalibrate how others respond. When it does not, frustration intensifies. As pressure increases, weaponized victimhood often appears. The narrative shifts from, "I was stopping a problem," to, "This is being done to me." Responsibility is displaced outward. Accountability is reframed as persecution. This is not a mental health diagnosis. This is a behavioral pattern. It repeats because it is rarely challenged early. In many environments, Similar conduct goes unchecked, reinforcing the belief that boundaries are flexible when exercised forcefully enough. What makes this case different is that the pattern unfolds in public, in front of witnesses, with minors involved. The law interrupts this pattern not to punish emotion, but to reassert limits. It draws a clear line between perception and permission, between concern and control. By the time this encounter reaches its endpoint, the outcome is no longer shaped by explanations or protests. It is shaped by procedure. Based on witness statements, the accounts of the minors involved, and the observable conduct documented at the scene, specific charges are initiated. 2 counts related to child abuse exposure, a disorderly conduct charge reflecting the public nature of the disturbance, and resisting without violence, stemming from refusal to comply after lawful detention begins. From that moment forward, the process moves on rails. The individual is taken into custody, booked, entered into the system. Personal beliefs about fairness no longer influence what happens next. Court dates replace conversations. Counsel replaces argument. Exposure replaces outrage. This is the point many people misunderstand. Arrest is not a moral judgment. It is a legal mechanism triggered when defined thresholds are met. Once those thresholds are crossed, officers are obligated to act, not to negotiate. The broader consequence extends beyond the charges themselves. Public access can be restricted. Conditions may be imposed. A permanent record begins to form. These are not symbolic penalties. They are structural outcomes that alter options long after the incident ends. This is how order is restored, not through punishment for emotion, but through enforcement of boundaries that apply equally to everyone. Adults do not gain authority over children by proximity. Frustration does not confer control, and public spaces do not suspend the law. Freedom exists within limits. Those limits are what allow shared spaces to function without fear. When they are crossed, the response is not personal, it is procedural. And once that process begins, it does not reverse. That is the final lesson of this case.